Joining us tonight to talk about holiday spending simplified. Just for all of you who are participants or in a response to a question that I asked, if you could type in the chat bar, that should be at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Please direct your questions to the organizers. The organizers are, of course, myself and Kelsey Balkaitis, who is our community education specialist. Let's talk about how to make wise financial choices this holiday season. Now, I don't know about you, but I love shopping for the holidays. It's really, really fun and exciting, and there have been years when I was able to just kind of go crazy and buy anything I wanted, and then there have been other years where I had to really crack down on that. And so I've been able to come up with a lot of, I think they're clever and fun ways to enjoy the holidays inexpensively that I'd like. In order to avoid holiday stress, we have to focus on what matters. So what matters to you? I'm guessing a lot of you are thinking about family, friends, traveling, your special traditions that you celebrate. So focus on those things that do have to cost a lot of money. On gifts and seasonal merchandise for the winter holidays. So think about for yourself, how much are you budgeting for this holiday season? And please feel free to type that into the chat bar and just let us know what you were thinking, if maybe this number is too high or too low for your preference. All right. Holiday expenditure was about $719. So we've actually become slightly more frugal over the past year. And interestingly enough, before the recession, our average was over $750. So we're clearly de-emphasizing the spending and emphasizing more of the important things in our lives when it comes to the holidays, and probably cutting costs on the gifts that we buy, and maybe spending a little bit more on the travel or the things that we do to be with our families, a little bit more money spent on the traditions. Go over it. Traveling. Well then, okay, the holiday parties that I want to go to, or is it I want to give to my children? So prioritize what's the most important thing to you. But also, with your, I know that we here at the credit union, we have office parties and we do gift sessions, and unfortunately, a lot of people have expectations of how those things should run. And so it's really important to get clear with your friends, family, and coworkers up in advance. You know, what are you expecting from me this year? Can we set a limit? Maybe we're all each going to buy each other like a $5 gift. Or maybe we draw a name and, you know, this person gets, each of us buys a $25 gift for that one individual person that I've chosen. And I'll just reiterate what I already said, and I think you already know. Spend what you have, not what you think you'll have. So if you think, oh, I might be getting a holiday bonus, if you're not going to get it before the date of the holiday, don't depend on that to pay for your holiday expenses. So on your handout, another thing I would like for you to do is write down or draw a picture of what is your idea of the perfect holiday. Whatever images might come to your mind. And if you don't feel like drawing, then please just write it out in words. I know as a kid, my idea of the perfect holiday was presents, presents, presents galore. And the candy was nice. That was fun, too, and all the sweets. And the food was, you know, whatever, as long as I get lots of presents. But for my mom, it was always, you know, the food. That was a big deal for her, and that's what made her Christmas complete. For another person, it could be, you know, just sitting by the fire. And I know we don't have tons and tons of fires in our fireplaces, you know, this time of year. But maybe that's, you know, that image that you want to create. Actually was looking at a magazine the other day, and they had a funny little picture of a person with a laptop, and they had the image of the fire going on their laptop. I know for my husband, his favorite thing to do in the holiday season is the shopping. He absolutely loves it, and his holiday would not be complete. And it doesn't matter who he's buying a gift for, if it's a coworker or the babysitter or whoever. He just loves to go, do the shopping for the holiday season. That's just something that he enjoys. It makes him feel good about himself, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's, the primary reason for him. So here are the questions that I want you to consider. What do you love the most about the holiday season? What seasonal activities put you in a holiday mood? What activities are absolutely necessary for your holidays to feel complete? And you might be surprised when you ask your family those same things, what they say. You might be thinking, well, I can do away with, that's really important to them, and that's the part that speaks the most about the season for them. List the traditions which, if skipped, would not even be missed this year. So what are some of those things that you've always done and you just keep doing it because, well, I've always done it? Think about which traditions create a high level of stress for you. So I know when I was little, my mom always decorated the house, and she would collect, decorations every single year and put them up, every year. And so she had, boxes and boxes and boxes of this stuff. And as she's grown older and we've all, moved out of the house, that's the part that causes so much stress for her now. So she's basically giving, my brother and sister and I just these huge boxes of Christmas decorations. So she's getting rid of that stress for herself and focusing on what's more important to her for this season now. What is something new that you'd like to include in your holiday celebration? What's something that you prefer to put on hold for this year? So maybe it's something that is very important to you, but maybe you can't afford it this year. So you're not saying, I will never do this again. You're just saying, I won't do this for this year. I'll put it on hold temporarily, and we'll come back to it next year. How do you plan to reach out and help others this year, if at all? And then, of course, how do you plan to incorporate religious traditions in your holiday celebrations? And lastly, how will you stay focused on what really matters this holiday season? The purpose of these questions is to lead you, to guide you into creating the plan for the master plan for your holiday season, so that things don't catch you by surprise, so that you don't end up in those situations where, oh, John at work gave me this toy, this gift, and now I have to give him something. But if you're already focused on what's important to you, what your values are, and what's important to you at this time, then you don't have to get caught in that cycle. So another part of what I'll do is share with you some strategies, of course, that you can use in those situations. So once again, I encourage you to talk to your families, friends, and coworkers about some of these questions and find out what are their expectations and how can we work together and communicate and set those boundaries to make this an enjoyable season and not a stressful season. All right, so let's get organized. You want to prioritize time and money. Those are the two main stressors that people have at this time of year. So prioritize your time and money, create your holiday spending plan, and that's just a really nice way of saying your budget. Nobody likes the B word, so let's call it the holiday spending plan. And I do have a template for you. If you've got your handout in front of you, I'll show you where that is in just a few minutes. Make a list and check it twice. I also have a gift list for you in your handouts. There are some other lists that you can create. You have your card list, your baking list, your travel list. You could have a decorations list. The list goes on and on for how many different lists you can create. So really use your imagination. And there are a lot of resources out there on the internet where they've already done all the work for you. You just download the template and then you fill it in. So lots of resources for you. This is all, once again, intended to help you plan for that season so that you don't feel stressed. When you are out shopping for whatever it is, if you're shopping for a holiday party or for gifts for your coworkers, whatever it is you're buying, or even if it's the small random things like I need new candles for my centerpiece. Track your spending. Write everything down, and then save all of your receipts. Especially at this time of year, you want to save your receipts because if something is broken or if something doesn't work the way you thought, or if you give that gift to somebody and they don't like it or they don't need it or they already have it, well then if you have all of your receipts, you're able to get your money back or trade it in for something that they do want or do like. All right, so these are the lists I was telling you about. You have your countdown checklist, and so I included Thanksgiving in here mainly because that's the holiday that's coming up very, very shortly. And Thanksgiving for some people is very stressful. If you're hosting, the family, if it's your year to bake and cook and get the big turkey, well, that can be a little stressful. So I've given you a Thanksgiving countdown checklist. And then after that, directly after that, you have a holiday checklist, which is a little bit more extensive. And these are just guidelines. You can definitely modify this to what works for you, but these are just some of the different things that you might want to think about. Then you have the holiday expenses worksheet, which is where this is where that spending plan is going to come from. So your holiday expenses worksheet, I tried to outline as many different things that you could possibly buy throughout the holiday season. And I do have this in Excel format, which I will send you. So you can modify it if there are things on there that don't apply to you, or that maybe you have you need to add additional lines in one of those categories. But these are some of the things that you might want to be planning and incorporating into your budget. So I remember I actually taught this class almost a year ago now, and I had a lady tell me, gosh, I had never thought about every single year I go to this holiday party and I buy a dress. And it's not a cheap dress, and then when I buy the dress, I have to buy the shoes, and then I have to buy the jewelry. And she had never included that in her holiday budget, so she ended up having to put all of that on her credit card. So think about all of those little bitty things that come along with, it's not just gifts, all of the other things, and you want to allocate money for every single one of those items. What's important to remember when you are shopping, and you'll see that there are two different line items here. So you have your projected cost, which is the budgeting part of it. That's how much I want to spend. And then you have your actual cost, and then the difference column. So if I spend less in one area, then that difference, that additional money can go towards somebody else. So let's say I spend less on my partner than I thought I would, so now I have a little bit of extra I can spend on the kids. Likewise, if I overspend in one category, then I have to take that money out of somebody else's gift or some other part of the celebration. And then after that, you have the holiday gift list worksheet. And so the idea behind this is you write down names of all gift for, because we're talking about all the different types of gifts you want to give. So then you write down your idea for that person. You write down what you expect the maximum amount of money you would want to spend on that. And let me think about this, but there are so many different service people in our lives that we want to consider, giving them a tip or giving them maybe, thank you for whatever you've done for me this whole year. So include everybody on there. And then what you start doing before, excuse me, before you go to any stores, you start researching online who carries this item that I want to get for this person. What are the prices, at, let's say, Best Buy versus Target? What are those prices? And so that way you can identify where am I going to get the best deal before you go to the store. Because the problem is once you get in that store, you're very likely to buy stuff that you don't need. But if you walk in there with a plan, then you're probably going to be able to stick to your budget a lot better. And then the eternal question, do I pay with credit or do I pay with cash? Now, I'm not saying that credit is bad. evil, or wrong. I would never say that. The way that people misuse credit is bad and wrong. But credit in and of itself, it can be a very good thing. I want to build good credit so that I can have the bigger and better things in life, like a college education or a home or a boat, whatever it is. You know, I need to build the credit, decent credit, so that I can have those things. At the same time, why would I want to finance, as we saw in that statistic earlier, my entire holiday, you know, enjoyment for 2011? Why would I want to finance that and be paying for it next year? That just doesn't make any sense. So as often as possible, pay with cash. And here's another little trick that I recently learned. When we're talking about shopping with cash, get really big bills, like 50s and 100s, because psychologically you won't want to break those the way that it won't be as easy to spend that money as it would be if you had a bunch of 5s and 10s and 20s. So get the big bills, shop with cash. Love this quote, absolutely love it, from the National Foundation for Credit Counseling. Christmas does not qualify as an emergency. The absolute worst thing you could do, even worse than financing your entire holiday celebration on credit, is using up your emergency savings to pay for the holidays. The emergency savings is there for emergencies, and the holidays just don't qualify. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not offending anyone, but emergency, you need to have an emergency savings of about 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, and that is in case, you know, something bad happens. You get ill, or your car breaks down, or somebody loses a job. That's what the emergency fund is for, not for buying gifts for our friends and our family. So, okay, enough said about that. So how do I create a holiday spending plan? Well, what I want to do, the reason I gave you that worksheet, is so you can come up with everything that you expect to spend money on and get a total balance. And once you've seen what that balance is, decide, is this, you know, does this sound right? Is this, you know, do I want to spend $704, or do I need to spend less based on, you know, what's going on in my life? Then you want to, like I said before, limit your time in the store. Do as much comparison shopping and research as you can online before you get to the store. If you don't want to use the computer, there are sales ads like crazy, crazy everywhere. Watch the TV. Everybody's advertising their Christmas and holiday specials, their Thanksgiving specials. I mean, you can do a lot of research before you ever get to that store. And I'll tell you in just a couple of minutes why, specifically why I'm saying this. Stores are designed to get you in, to keep you in, and to get you to buy stuff. So the less time you spend in there, the less likely you will be to break your budget. And then take frequent breaks to survey the damage. So as you go through using your gift list, do the calculations, keep track of everything, and like I said, survey the damage. See, okay, how far into my budget am I now? Do I need to take some money out of, you know, Jane's pot over here and put it into John's? What do I need to do? Keeping track of that instead of just kind of shopping willy-nilly while you're in the store will really save you a lot of money in the long run and will help prevent some of that buyer's remorse. I know that the holiday seasons really are all about the heart. They are. At the same time, when it comes to our money, we cannot be driven by our emotions. We have to shop with our heads and not with our hearts. All right, so I told you I would talk about the psychology of spending and those stores and how they're designed to keep you inside of them and get you to buy lots of stuff. So this is on page 6 of your handout. People move in predictable, and we do have a tendency to follow the leader. So interestingly enough, they've done some studies, and Americans shop counterclockwise. So my favorite grocery store to shop at is on the left. And it never occurred to me, but we get into my H-E-B through the right-hand door. What do I see? I smell the bakery because it's very close by. I see the deli right after beautiful, you know, cakes that they've designed and decorated. It's there. That's part of the reason that all of that not so pretty. And so they want all of the attractive things on the outskirts of the store moving through, and then what caps. And on the end caps is where they put giant flashy signs that say sale or clearance or buy one, get one. And I don't know about you, but that's a big trigger for me. I like to buy stuff on sale. Okay, cannot resist shiny things. So have you ever noticed how car commercials, jewelry commercials, malls, they're really bright and shiny? And I put, of course, the Apple Store because it looks pretty. I like it. So researchers basically, they say that back in the time when we were more nomadic, shiny, that probably means that there's light reflecting off of water so that I could hydrate myself and continue to live. So this is a natural response, and marketers have really picked up on that, and that's why we see these beautiful, bright and shining diamonds and rings and necklaces. I've been noticing a lot of those commercials lately. Okay, shopping gives you a rush. Whoops, I went too far. Shopping gives you a rush. So that drive us to continue to shop because of the enjoyment. We get some small enjoyment out of making one purchase. Chemicals in our brains tell us, I like this feeling, I want to continue. So of course, in the handout, it goes more into like dopamine. It's all about the rewards and the punishments to the psychology of spending. All right, so let's pretend you have 3 golf balls. Picture 3 golf balls in your mind. Now, 158 golf balls in your mind. Which one is easier to do? That large of a number is virtually impossible. I'm not saying it can't happen. It's just that it's very rare that we are able to do something like that. Our brains are generally not equipped to handle large numbers. So, question. Would you take the Pepsi challenge? I love this question. I'm a diehard Coca-Cola fan, but I find this very intriguing. So, in the 1970s, Pepsi-Cola did the Pepsi challenge, and what they did is blind taste tests of just random people, and they gave them, excuse me, a Pepsi and a Coke. So they didn't know that obviously they're blind, so they try one, they try the other, and hand over hand they picked Pepsi. But then they took away the blind part of it, and they gave them both cans, so they knew the branding. They saw the branding, and more people picked Coke. So what that tells us is that we can be tricked by brands. We associate certain qualities with a brand, and so we might think, well, I don't want to buy the knockoff version because I don't know if it's good quality or if it's as good as what I know is tried and true. So once again, I always advocate do your research online, and very shortly I'll be telling you about lots of websites where you can go to help do some of these comparisons and get that research done before you walk into the store. I bet you didn't know you were going to. Page 7 in your handout is answer true or false to each of the following questions. So just circle true or false. There are arguments in my home about money. I sometimes hide my purchases. I have thought about filing for bankruptcy. I struggle to make my mortgage payment. I sometimes pay my bills late. I have used more than 30% of my available credit lines. My debt interferes with my sleep, job, or home life. I have little or no savings. I am receiving collection calls or notices. If you answered true to 2 or more of those, I would highly recommend that you limit, potentially cut out holiday expenses this year. any of these things indicates that there is a financially distressing situation in your life. And no, nothing is worth, just one holiday season. Like I said before with the credit, you don't want to be paying for a moment's enjoyment for a long period of time. So if any of these apply to you, then you should probably make some drastic reductions to your holiday shopping plan. One note on number 6, I have used more than 30% of my available credit lines. The reason why we say 30% is because of the impact that that will have on your credit score and its effect on your ability to obtain further credit. So we always recommend that you keep your balance 30% of the limit on your credit card. All right, so let us move on to the fun stuff. This is my favorite part. Money saving tips. So my first tip is, of course, make your own gifts. And believe me, there are so many ideas out there. Do any of you have things that you've made for family or friends or coworkers before that you wanted to share? Well, I have received, let's see, I got a cocoa mix one year in a really cute container. That's why I had that one picture up there. My mom always makes holiday muffin mix, and oh my gosh, my coworkers like beg me for that stuff every year. It's hilarious because they love it so much. Do we have a comment? Okay. All right. So other ideas, I thought these were really neat. You could make a scrapbook. And I know for parents, giving gifts to the grandparents, maybe a digital photo frame. So yeah, I realize that you'd have to spend money, but you could load it with all kinds of pictures of you or maybe your trip or something special for that person that you want to give it to. Or, the tried and true, making a coupon book. I know it sounds kind of silly, but it might mean a lot to somebody in your life that maybe if you give them a book where you say, hey, I will babysit your dog, or I will wash your car, or whatever it is that you want to offer. I actually, when in doing some research for this our webinar, I was reading on learnvest.com about applying, you read it too, huh? About applying the principles from love languages, the book Love Languages, to holiday shopping, or holiday spending, I should say. So the different love languages, of the 6 different ones, only one would actually highly value physical gifts. And so many of the others, their preference is maybe your time or a demonstration of your love or, a multitude of other things. And so what they said to help you minimize holiday spending is to find out what is the love language of my significant other, or what is the love language of, my parents. What can I do, maybe a non-gift celebration that I can give them that is more meaningful to them than if I just bought them, a sweater or a pair of socks or something. So consider non-gift celebrations. Host a family or support a charitable function. Or volunteer. A lot of people start volunteering around this time of year in the soup kitchens or donating blankets to the homeless. I mean, there are so many different things you can get involved in. And just think about using that opportunity as a teachable moment for your children. Make a donation in someone's name. I actually had a coworker who did this for me a couple years back. So the Statesman, the Austin American Statesman, every year, I guess they adopt a number of different families and they publish stories about them and their families in need. And so readers can contribute to whatever it is that family needs. Well, my coworker actually contributed to that in my name, and I don't know, that meant so much to me. I mean, I don't need another set of, silly little pens or whatever. I thought that was incredibly thoughtful. So maybe doing something like that, and then of course you're also supporting the community and helping people who need it the most. Oh, so I listed out a couple of websites where you can actually do some due diligence on the different charity organizations. Of course, the Better Business Bureau is going to be your number one, but there are some other ones where you can do research on the charities, because we don't of all things, we do not want to get swindled this time of year. So make sure that you do that due diligence before donating. Another idea is create a gift pool. So if maybe there's a young family, a new family, and you want to get them something that's really going to help them out. Maybe you and your friends all pool your money and get something really beneficial for that person instead of each individual buying the smaller items. So that's an idea. Give gift cards. Actually, 57, I think it's 58% of Americans this year say that they want gift cards more than anything else. So you pretty much can't go wrong with buying somebody a gift card. And my favorite site to get gift cards is giftcardgranny.com. So what you do is you go there, and it's like a web crawler, and she looks, I always say she because it says Gift Card Granny, but anyway, she looks out on the web to find gift cards. Let's say I want a gift card for Target. So she looks out on the web, she trolls all these different sites, and then she tells me, well, here are the places where you can buy a Target gift card for this discount. So let's say she found a $50 gift card value on eBay, and somebody's selling it for $40. So I save 10 bucks, and my friend gets 50 bucks. I think that's pretty cool. So that's an idea. Negotiating, and when it comes to negotiation, you really have to know your stuff. So that's why it's really important to do your research online or look at your sale ads. There are lots of stores where if you take a sale ad into them, they will honor their competitors' prices, or they'll honor their competitors' coupons. One site that I really like is pricegrabber.com. And PriceGrabber, you would say, like, I want to buy a PlayStation 3. I don't even know if that's popular anymore, which is sad because I don't know that. But anyway, I go in and I say I want to buy a PlayStation 3, and it looks out over the web, well, who's selling the PlayStation 3, and of course it'll probably pull from the big names first, but there will be others on there too, and it'll show me who has the best price for it. Well, let's say I don't necessarily want to buy it online because I'm a little leery of that. I don't know if it's secure, don't want to put in my credit card information. Well, I can take that ad that I found online to the retailer, and especially those ones who will match their competitors' prices. So that's one way to negotiate and get those prices down. And then here is my crutch right here. I'm sorry. I know there are lots of people who are like extreme couponers, and I know them, and I'm not quite that person. But what I do instead is I actually follow the extreme couponers and let them do all the work, and then I get the coupons. Oh my gosh, I love it. My favorite site is dealseekingmom.com, and that's exactly what she does. She has agreements with like coupons.com, redplum.com, smartsource.com, and then she talks to all these different bloggers out there, and basically they research all of the coupons everywhere and tell you, okay, if you shop at Walmart and you use this coupon on this day when it goes on sale for this amount, you will save this amount of money, or like you'll get it for next to nothing. I love it. I think it's so clever. And then she tells you, when free samples are coming up, and you can order. I just ordered. I sound like such a dork, but anyway, I just ordered a free box of granola bars online. It was, a simple little survey. You just answered one question, and then they're going to send you like a free box of granola bars. It's pretty awesome. Oh, and I just got a note from my dear friend Kelsey. Coupon Cravings is another good one. I guess that's one that she uses. So Coupon Cravings. And then, of course, I've listed a ton in there for you. Some other ones to call your attention to, restaurants.com. I have bought a few there. You can spend, seriously, I spent $2 and got a gift card to Best Bistro that's worth like $35. That's unbelievable. I don't know. I just think that's so cool. So you'd say 50 to 80% off the value of that voucher by shopping on that site. Now, of course, there's going to be some funky little restrictions, like you can't spend it on alcohol, and you have to buy, X number, and you have to have this many people in your party. I'm okay with that because I paid $2, and now I get $35 worth of food. So it's totally up to you if you want to check that one out. And then never pay shipping again when you shop online by checking out the codes on freeshipping.com. Freeshipping.com only works on, isn't it right before Christmas? Well, check it out. You will not regret it. It's basically going to tell you when is the best time to send your holiday cards, greeting cards, to get that free shipping or the gifts that you want to send. And another thing about gifts is make sure that you pack your gift in an appropriate size box. The larger the box, the more they're going to charge you for it. So it's really important to get, small items into small boxes. And then for those of you who like organic and natural products, there are 3 different websites. I have tried all 3, actually, mambosprouts.com, organicdeals.com, and healthdeals.com, and my personal preference is organicdeals.com. It's very similar to what Deal Seeking Mom does. It's a blogger who goes and they research all this stuff, and then they tell you, okay, buy on this day at this time and use this coupon and you'll get, X for like 50 cents. So it's awesome. I love it. Time your purchases to the best days to shop. So if you're going to buy clothing at a regular store, like a Target or a Walmart or, whatever, you want to shop on Thursday evening because you're right in the middle of the week, and it's also right before the weekend. So that's when they probably have some downtime. There aren't as many people shopping. So you would get the best selection, and you'll get a decent price because they're a little bit more willing to negotiate with you. Additionally, if you're shopping in department stores, shop on Saturday evening. On Saturday evening, you can't, if you wait right until before the store closes, you can negotiate with the salespeople to give you the Sunday sales price. Now, how many of you have seen the recent Walmart commercials for layaway? I know it's funny, like their commercials are funny and cute, but layaway is awesome, and I'm really glad that it's coming back because it's a great way to, it emphasizes the need to save and pay in cash, and that's what I've been saying since the beginning, really. So layaway programs are wonderful, and ideally, what you could do, not necessarily for this holiday shopping season, but maybe for next shopping season, is pick out some really high ticket or big ticket items and do the layaway for next year's holiday season. So that would be another idea. Or, of course, you could start that special savings account and have money deducted throughout the year that you use towards holiday expenses next year. To save some time and some money on your Christmas card list or your holiday card list, you could do postcards instead of traditional cards. So you'll save on the postage that way, and maybe your hand won't cramp up as much. And then I'm a big fan of making my own decorations. So some ideas are like when they have the Christmas tree lots up, if you want a bunch of greenery, just go and look for the scraps because you can string it together, use some craft wire and put it together and make your own wreath or whatever it is you want to do. So that's one thing. You could make your own. Of course, with kids, this is great. Make paper chains, string popcorn and cranberries, cut out paper doily snowflakes. You can do all kinds of fun stuff with kids. And then these pictures that I have on the screen are from realsimple.com, and that's my favorite magazine. It's Real Simple. But on their website, they have all these different articles about how to make your own decorations with stuff you probably already have sitting around your house. So you'll notice on the left, basically they took cups and put sugar inside the cup, marshmallows, and then peppermint sticks. And it looks really cute. And if you do like a nice little assortment, and then they took in the middle, they took mittens and just hung them. And then another one they had taken like your standard ornaments and just put them into a really nice glass vase. So lots and lots of ideas out there, as many as you can imagine. You just kind of have to look around. And in newspaper comics, magazine pages, old maps. Another thing I saw is like use copier paper. So find a picture that you really like or a design that you really like and just copy it in paper, and you can wrap small gifts in that. Any questions? All right. Okay. Oh, well, this is my list of my favorite deal sites. One that a couple I didn't mention, Groupon. Tons of different sites just like Groupon. So I'm not saying necessarily just use Groupon. There are lots of other ones, but those sites can be really great for gifts, actually, because you can buy somebody like a massage for half off and then just give them the Groupon. So that can be a fun way to give somebody a gift that's a little bit nicer but that you don't have to go way over your budget to get it. Life.yourway.net is a really neat website, and that's actually where I've gotten a lot of downloadable like holiday books that you can use to help plan out your holidays. So I highly recommend that site as well. And I think I talked about all the, oh, Ebates. I did not talk to you about Ebates. Ebates is a really cool website, and I would say if you're going to do a lot of online shopping, start there before you go to like the Best Buys and the Targets.coms. Start with Ebates. Basically, Ebates is you sign up. You do have to sign up, but it's free to join. And then I think it's just the coolest thing, and I've actually already started using it and gotten a few checks this year. So you basically use their site as a gateway to Target or Best Buy or whatever, and when you shop at those stores, as long as you've used the Ebates portal, you get a specific percentage back. And then sometimes they'll do like double the cash back or whatever, and each quarter, at the end of each quarter, they've been tallying up how much you've been shopping and all of those percentages, and you get a check. So it might not be a ton of money unless, of course, you do huge amounts of shopping online, but you know, every little penny counts. So I think it's really neat. And then on top of that, Ebates is a great hub for searching for promo codes. So if you like to shop at Sephora.com and you just think, well, I love this stuff, but I'm not going to pay for that shipping, go to Ebates, do a search for Sephora, and they'll show you the different promo codes. And it may not be for free shipping, but maybe it's for get, you know, a bunch of free samples or whatever. So that's another great way to shop online. So how many of you are traveling for the holiday season? I know me. Traveling far, going to Dickinson, which is just outside of Galveston. But still, these tips can be used anywhere, anytime. So some of my favorite travel sites are Bing.com travel, and they have something called the price predictor. Kelsey's nodding her head at me. She's like, yes, it's awesome. So it tells you over this week's period, you know, when will the fee go up, when will the fee go down, when is the best time to buy. And you tell it, of course, where do I want to go and when do I want to go. Websites that you've probably heard of, Expedia.com and Orbitz.com. I know Expedia has some really cute commercials, but those are great ways to search, you know, the different airlines and have, you know, the comparison right there in front of your face. And then Kayak.com actually compares some airlines that aren't quite as well known, but still just as good. So Kayak.com is another tool that you can use. I think it goes without saying to fly on off-peak days. Another thing you could do, and I know this kind of goes against the grain, is fly on the day of the holiday. So take the red eye or just get up really early and fly that day. Sleep on the plane if you have to, that's fine. You will save so much money doing that rather than if you fly the day before the holiday. And the same goes for driving. I've actually done this for several years in a row because I do drive home. My family's over in Houston. I drive that morning, like the morning of Thanksgiving. I'll be driving, and the roadways are free and clear. It's awesome. So you can save yourself some stress and an expense that way. So Kelsey just told me, she's from Wisconsin, by the way. So she purchased her ticket to go home. She will be flying that morning of Thanksgiving, and it saved her $200 extra that she could have been spending if she had flown one day earlier. So it's not insignificant how much you can save by doing that. Some other ideas, well, some other websites I really like. I actually just learned about this one from my coworker, and I started researching homeaway.com. So, typically when we talk about traveling, we're thinking, well, I'll either stay with my family or I'll stay in a hotel. Well, what homeaway.com is homeowners who go in and say, I'm willing to rent out my home on the weekends or just this one particular weekend for X number of dollars. And typically, It's going to be less than what you would pay for a hotel, and you get either a whole townhome, a condo, or even a big home. I was really excited when I searched in there because I found one over on Lake Travis, and I'm like, wow, I could stay on Lake Travis for one night and pretend like I'm, wealthy. I totally dig that. Oh, no way. So Odette is here, and she's come to several of the workshops, but she was just saying that you can, some of the homes will come with maid services if you're traveling overseas. So yeah, it's pretty impressive, and you'll save a lot that way, but you'll get more of a luxurious experience. And then if you want to stay in a traditional hotel, then hotels.com is a great way to search for a specific price range or date range. And I think we already covered Expedia. All right. A couple of tips as far as timing. If you're trying to reserve a hotel room, call on Sunday. According to travel experts, the hotel manager that works on the weekend, his goal is to get those rooms filled up. And in some cases, he doesn't really care how much less you have to pay to get that room. So he's going to be more willing to negotiate with you than the person who works during the weekdays. If you are traveling by car this holiday season, fill up your gas tank before 10 a.m. on Thursday, because most people are going to be traveling around that weekend. So Thursday morning around 10 o'clock is when those new prices will be posted. So try to fill up your tank before then. There are some really cool websites out there as well that help you compare the best prices for gas in your area. The one I'm using right now is gasbuddy.com. But I have it on a smartphone, so I don't know exactly how it works on the website. But on the smartphone, basically you say, I am here, and it shows you all the gas stations around you and how much the prices are at every single one, so I can find the one that has the cheapest gas and go there. All right, if you plan to do a lot of shopping online, whether you're booking hotels or booking cars or buying gifts, whatever you're doing online, please, before you ever put in any credit card information or any identifying information, make sure that in the address bar you see HTTPS. The S means that website is secure. And then in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you should see a little golden lock. That also is just a visual indicator that this is a secure website. If you don't see that, please do not put any personally identifying information in there. Also, when you're shopping online or shopping via a catalog, make sure that you know what the return policy is, because it might be a lot different from what you would find at a traditional retailer, a brick-and-mortar retailer. So make sure you know what that is, because if you're shopping online and you're waiting for it to come to you in the mail and then it's not the right thing, then you have to send it back and then you have to wait. So you really want to make sure you know what all of those parameters are before you buy that item. Are there saving tips, or did you have any tips that you wanted to share? All right. All right. Well, let's talk about next year. At the end, I encourage you, at the end of this holiday season, using the worksheet given you and the Excel spreadsheet, which I will send you so that you can manipulate it however you need to, use that information, divide it by 10, and you'll have how much you need to save every month from January through October in order to fund Thanksgiving and the seasonal holidays next year. And that way you're guaranteed that you will be spending cash instead of credit. Now, I did mention before, please, please, please always buy with cash and don't buy with credit. I understand. Lots of times we use credit. But here's what I want you to think about when you are using your credit card to purchase holiday items. Can I pay this off in January? Don't be like those other 12 million Americans who are still paying off, December's enjoyment in October and November of next year. Make sure that whatever you charge on that card, you are able, you know, I can pay this off in one billing cycle. Now, I have to admit, this particular tip is kind of dangerous for me, but you might be a little bit more disciplined than I am. Shop after the holidays for next year's gifts. You can get a huge deal on that, and I do this for Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, which is what I celebrate, and actually even New Year's. If you shop like the day after or a couple of days after, the prices are dropping by 50%, 75% because they're trying to move the inventory to get in the next holiday's inventory. So they have to move that stuff out really fast, so they're going to drop the price. Well, the reason why I say you have to have discipline is because I'm actually still using wrapping paper that I bought after Christmas 6 years ago because I went way overboard. Because for me, a big trigger for shopping is seeing, you know, the sale, the clearance, the 50% off. That's a big trigger for me to go crazy when I'm buying stuff. So if you have the discipline, buy a few holiday gifts for next year after the holidays, and you'll save yourself some money. Now, also key with that is know where you put it. I know my mother at one point in time bought a really nice gift for my dad after Christmas, saved it for a whole year, but couldn't remember where she put it. So that's kind of pointless. So make sure that you have a designated spot for, if you're going to do this, that you have a designated spot where you save gifts for next year. Once again, use the layaway programs at your favorite stores. I think we already talked about that. We have what's called a special savings account, and you can use that. You can have as many special savings accounts as you, your travel fund and one your holiday fund and one, I don't know, whatever you want it to be. So you can have as many as you want and then start automatic deductions from your payroll or automatic transfers from your account into the special savings account to save for next year's holidays or your, you know, whatever other things you're trying to save for. It is not a gift to anyone to dig a deep financial hole. It really isn't. Your family and friends don't want you to be stressed and unhappy. So communicate those boundaries, communicate your values and what's important to you for the holidays with everyone before you get there. So we have a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving. Now would be a really good time to have that sit-down family meeting. Are there any questions? I think I ran through that faster than for you. Some of the resources that we have at the credit union are our financial wellness coaches, and financial wellness coaches can help you with a variety of different things. Their specialty is definitely budgeting. So it could be holiday budgeting, or it could be budgeting, you know, regular everyday expenses. It could be just maybe you need some advice if you have loans or credit cards and you're not really sure what to pay off first. They're really good at answering those types of questions, and they can meet with you one-on-one. Our A+ Financial Center, that we do have actually no, my goodness, we have 3 financial advisors on staff now. Nadine is one of them, and then we also have Ben Coleman and Bob Guest. And they basically work different areas of the credit union because we do reach 10 different counties currently, so they do reach different areas. So that's, Nadine would be able to help you identify which person would be the best for you to talk to. And then our trust officer, who deals with estate plans and trust services, you name it, wills, the whole shebang. His name is Rick, and that's his information. Cornerstone Financial Education is the credit union's preferred credit counseling partner, and what they do is they help people identify ways that they can get themselves out of debt and identify whether or not they're at the point where they might need assistance getting out of debt, and then they provide that assistance. Online, we do have calculators. It's aplusfu.org/calculators, and there are calculators for just about everything you can imagine, how taxes impact your salary, how much you need to save to retire. Lots of calculators. I encourage you to go out and explore that. Our personal financial analysis is a very handy tool, especially if you're wanting to meet one-on-one with somebody at the credit union to discuss your financial situation. The personal financial analysis is a really good tool that informs our financial wellness coaches and our credit counseling partner of your situation so that they're better able to give you solutions. And of course, I will be emailing you the relevant links afterwards, so you don't have to worry about trying to write all of this down right now. Home and Family Finance Center is a really good resource as well, and of course I'll give you links to that, and then Planet Retire Ready, which is all about the baby boomer generation and what do we as that generation need to do to better prepare ourselves for retirement, and then once we're in retirement, how do we stretch that income and make it last. This is my contact information. And of course, I've been emailing you, so you have that there too. But please feel free anytime you have questions, or if you you need a resource in the credit union, but you're not really sure who to talk to, please shoot me an email or give me a call, and I will get you connected as best that I can. We do have evaluations, and I will be sending you a link to the evaluation. It is very, very important to me and to our board of directors that you tell us how we're doing. The evaluations are anonymous. I'm not going to look over them and try to make sure I know who said what. So I do want you to be totally honest and tell us, how was this? Did you enjoy this webinar? Was it helpful to you? What are some things that we can do to improve? So I will be sending that most likely on Monday morning. Tomorrow is a bank holiday, so we will all be at home. And I hope that you as well will be celebrating the veterans in your life. Do we have any further questions? Thank you all so very much. It's really been a pleasure, and I hope to see you or speak to you soon. We'll keep you informed of further future webinars. Thank you so much. You just witnessed almost the first. We tried it once.